flag assistant, general order of resistance, HOLC assistant, Robin's Airport resistance, FHA assistant, Black Wall Street resistant, FDR New Deal assistant, Randolph Outfits not reading water resistant, 1862 assistant, 1863 resistant, 1933 assistant, 1935 assistant, 1935 assistant, 1921 resistance, 1939 resistance, 1941 resistance. Eddie said and punished, we rush, we black, we rest, man. Eddie said and punished, Freedmen were aspiration. 80 nudging hunters, no one black and beautiful. 80 nudging hunters, no one black and beautiful. Eddie said and punished, we rush, we black, we rest, man. Eddie said and punished, Freedmen were aspiration. Golden nudging hunters, no one black and beautiful. 80 nudging hunters, no one black and beautiful. Homes are like a system, general order of resistance, HOLC assistant, Robin's Airport resistant, FHA assistant, Black Wall Street resistant, FDR New Deal assistant, Randolph Outfits like they wanna resistant. Always had a slip, we always had a system. We always had a system.
All right. Let's get right into it. We ain't playing around on this grand night. You dig? All right. So we're just going over, this is part 2 of part 1, right? The dude on the left, he called himself Brother Reggie, is a glazer of the worst kind, zesty as hell, and is totally obsessed over Tariq Nasheed. I'm jealous of him because Tariq Nasheed is everything what this clown wanted to be. All right. He felt like he'd been in the community for, decades and decade or two, and he felt like he never got his flowers. Well, that's because you shouldn't have any flowers. You didn't deserve any flowers. Still don't deserve any flowers. You put in no work, no real nothing that the people can embrace. And we still don't embrace nothing you do, dude, because you're a nothing burger. Nothing burgers produce nothing. No flowers are owed to you at all. Zero. And the people came in after you, moved right past you, moved you out the way. And that's embarrassing, man. Like, you got to fix that. Okay, so let's get to where we want to do. Anyway, so we're going to pick up where we left off at earlier. But as a reminder, shoobity-wop, shoobity-wop. Okay, as a reminder, let me play this as a reminder, what he was talking about earlier. Listen to this fool.
Okay, so Elder Suntan was in the chat and says, "How does Freeman die?" Uh,
A clone, a replica version of this.
well, the way that the Freeman died is because it died. It's an outdated term. It was a status term for a particular time period. It ended in 1872. It was created by Europeans. It was an act.
All right. So yeah, probably your dad. You dig? But the Freedmen Borough died in 1872, not the freedmen status people. Freedmen are real. Well, I'm sorry. Freedmen were real living people. Okay. That's why like this dude dodges my channel. You know, like people go to other channels because I'm telling like everybody's good at different things. So as you can see, revenue, you know, he's more he does better on Tariq Nasheed than over here because everybody has a strength and a weakness, and revenue weakness is over here. He shines better on Tariq and other platforms. Over here, he looks dumb like he's supposed to look. Okay, I don't play with him. Cook City, and he's been dodging me lately. He's like 0 for 90 over here. Not even close. Him and Tether Dream just cannot get nowhere close to win over here. This clown right here, brother Reggie, uh, he contradicts himself throughout the entire his presentation, where he's trying to prove Freedmen, like he just said, it died in 1872. A fool, and I gotta say that the Bureau died. What white folks created died in 1872, but freedmen are actually living people who died but had descendants. You see, a federal Freedmen Bureau don't have descendants, right? That's an agency. That's something made up. Poof, and poof, it disappeared. But freedmen are actually people, like Frederick Douglass, like Martin Robinson Delaney, okay, Alexander Cromwell, and Richard Allen. These are real freedmen, real people who lived and had kids, and so forth and so on. And a lot of us today are descendants of freedmen. Now, freedmen is a status. Freedmen are anybody who was emancipated and given rights that they did not have prior. So you had people who were enslaved by the five tribes, and you had people separate from those people who were enslaved by the U.S., right? The U.S., right? White people. So people were enslaved by native tribes, and people were enslaved by white people. But nevertheless, when the 13th Amendment popped off, it ended slavery, right? It emancipated everybody who was enslaved. So people who were emancipated were by default a freedman, whether you were enslaved by the five native tribes or white people. If you were in America and you were under bondage, or you or your lineage was denied citizenship here, right? Because of your bondage status, you were a freedman. Now, some of these people who were in bondage got their freedom before they were emancipated legally. Okay, and these people were called free blacks, but free blacks had no rights that a white man was bound to respect. Just ask Dred Scott. Ask Dred Scott. So freedmen, I'm sorry, free blacks walking around had no rights. Abolitionists wanted them just to go to Liberia. They didn't even want them to ask for rights. They felt like this country was for white. Even the abolitionists, they felt like this country was for white people. Okay, so when freedmen um, lived long enough to live through the Civil War, 13, 14, 15, 16 amendments, okay, the right to vote, birthright citizenship, they became freed men. So free blacks and enslaved blacks both together, if they lived through the Civil War and post, they became freedmen by status. Don't matter if they were free black or enslaved prior. They both were not fit in America eyes as for citizenship here. Okay. So I hope that just makes sense. All right. So those people died eventually, but they had descendants, and those people never got their just due for their free labor and blasey, 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 right? So that's why we are here repping on their behalf for reparations, not just for them, but for us too, because everybody after them, the descendants of freedmen after them, went through some horrible times in America. Black Reconstruction was sabotaged by the KKK. The women's suffrage movement had their little disdain for us. So Jim Crow, and everything that come with Jim Crow. We experienced that all the way into the 1970s, early 1970s, where Jim Crow was then it was then illegal. It was illegal to segregate and discriminate based on a race, color, creed, ethnicity. Okay. So they didn't die in 72. They died whenever they died, but that doesn't suspend anything. Their descendants are still owed on their behalf and for what the descendants have to go through all the way to now, 2025. We're still being harmed by the federal government and just white supremacy, systemic racism in America. I don't know how to explain that even more clear than that. All right, but these clowns, they never want to pull up. And when they do pull up, what they do? They become mouthy. They talk, 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 talk. They never want to shut up and have a dialogue. Monologue only. They just want to teach because they don't believe people are on their level, but they do believe that. But they just want to give lectures because they grew up from that era where you don't engage in conversations. You feel like you're too good to be taught or learn something new. So you just want to teach your old outdated information. And that's why dude has failed online, failed to generate a crowd.
Act, and I'm going to go into that. And then after 1872, right, it disappeared. So that's how it died. It already died. It was an act that died, that was defunded. Who else is on?
He's talking about the Freedmen Bureau. That has nothing to do with freedmen. Freedmen Bureau is like, yeah, it's an agency. It's something fake that white folks put together to so-called guide us throughout our freedom. Okay, feed us and temporary clothe us and temporary protect us from those sour uh, Confederates that took the L. Okay, so that dissolved, but freedmen were actually real people, and that's what he's not going to ever get and don't want to get because people think they're informant agents, both of them, agents, informants, and not just them, Mayat and Unk and the rest of them out there. Um, all the Babas and elders, all of them, that's Pan-Africanists. All of them are in either indirectly or directly agents. Okay, maybe the brother on the right ain't an agent, but he's rocking with an agent, and the agents influence him to do agent shit. So by default, he's an agent. You get what I'm saying? So peace to I am six. He said, thanks for clarifying that, Ron, or a question about their theories and rhetoric. Right, garbage. I mean, I'm telling you, these guys are supposed to be lettered, got degrees, but are dumb when it comes to this side of the fence. We got I am six. We got Braxton, the Snake Fiend. We got Donnie Williams, L.A. Hopkins in the building. Okay, light but tight. We're light, but we're tight. Okay, so he's misinformed. He looks crazy. He looks crazy.
Now the interesting thing is that how this conversation wasn't even on my radar.
So I'm gonna yeah, all right. Yeah, all right. We think you fooling. All your videos about us, basically half of them. All right, so now I left off around here.
Dance to quote Negro. We would dance to Super Sperm, right? Before Negro. Oh,
it was like we as a group of people.
I respect that. Somebody left. So now what we're just trying to do is we're trying to weed through the history. So I don't think that anybody here is really disagreeing with you. But I do want to hear from Sister Riri because she's a sister. And listen.
Okay, so let me just update you for those who are coming in to this now. To this, this is a continuation from earlier, this late afternoon. Okay, they are conflating two different arguments. So they're trying out the hip hop argument. I don't know what they're doing. I don't know if they're trying to say we don't even know. Right? What are you saying? Are you saying FBA's invented hip hop or we didn't? Right? We don't know because he don't make a claim ruling or anything. He just talks in circles. Then secondly, he's trying to make the argument that freedmen is a horrible term to use when you're trying to fight for reparative justice, right? Which is dumb. And we're getting debunked. We're debunking him tonight, all day I've been doing it. So this is part two. And it's look most likely, we like what 2.5 more hours to go. So it looks like we're gonna have a part 3 and 4, or if we start early enough tomorrow, which I doubt it. But depends, family. It all depends. I would love to get to the diner at 9, 10 a.m. I gotta show you how it looks in there. It's large, it's spacious, and there's other location that's beautiful, but it's too tight. And you know we're saying controversial shit, so I don't want to be so tight where everybody hear me and get butt hurt and hey, get rid of him. He's talking about illegals or tethers, you know. So this diner is very spacious. I like it. You can have a conversation, and the next person can't even hear you, even though they're like right over there somewhere, because it's roomy. I would love to get in there early, but like I said earlier, it's a diner. You're right. People want to come in, and they want your ass out so they can sit down and eat and dine, and it's expensive. So depends. You know, the right donations, I stay there all day. Limited donations, I'm in and out. Real simple. No biggie. Um, because it's space. Like I said, space is home. My son would never sit still long enough here. That's why I'm always out. Out. It's a little space for him to run around and bring his little Hot Wheel cars, and he have a good time in his little location. Because I go for everybody there are regulars. Not everybody, but a lot of people there are regulars, and we got our own little sections. Like so, it might be 3 people I in my section, 3 people I in a section over here and a section over there. Let's say three good sections and one okay section. Okay, so my section is open more than the other two. The other two is more coveted. I don't know why. I like mine better. So I've been getting lucky. It's been open when I get there every time. Totally open. And I don't mind sitting. I would rather sit next to Indians and Chinese people because they don't give a damn what I'm talking about. When I say tethers and get on ice, they're not butthurt at all. But white people and tethers, because a lot of Haitians in there will most likely be nosy and try to cause a big deal in it. Okay. So so I caught you up. So they're trying to argue and about freedmen being outdated. He just says outdated. It's a term we can't use for reparations. They don't know the difference between freedmen and free blacks. Definitely the dude on the right. He's totally confused. But brother Reggie, I'm not even sure if he knows because he's been back and forth. But so he would say, so now the contradiction is he would say Freedman is dead, but he will only say Freedman as it relates to FBAs, right? But he will argue Freedman is well and alive when we talk about people who were enslaved by the 5 native tribes. So it's like, wait a minute, Freedmen, we were all freedmen, even so. Don't matter if he was enslaved by white people, like plantationers, or the 5 tribes. You know, you still freedmen. So they don't understand that part because when you're just too busy trying to hate on people and come up with fallacious, fictitious arguments, you seem to don't make sense and don't realize it. Anyway, let's start from here.
We have to honor our women in the how can I say in the genre, and she certainly seems to have a story to tell. So I want to
Okay, so now they're at the hip hop part. I'm gonna fast forward this.
Okay.
The creators of hip hop is obvious. Anything about anybody else?
I'm just going to check the pulse on the people. First, Morpheus, did you get a cash app?
Yeah, nobody cares.
So can somebody put up Morpheus's cash?
No, we don't care. Nobody's sending y'all nothing.
Right? That's what we're going to deal with. We're going to find out if this freeman status can help us or not. Or is it something that,
Peace, Satchel.
you know, we got Dan Calloway, we got Top Cat, right? We got who else?
Dude is jealous of all of them.
We got Morris members. We got who else we got? Now we got the Freemen being led by Lord Abba, right? Everybody wants to be an Indian chief. Everybody wants to say that this is my thing. We got FBA by Tariq Nasheed. Everybody wants to be an influencer of a term, of a compound word. But when you expect them to give you the definition, it all falls freaking apart. Because it seems like that some of these people are not too bright. What they want you to do is follow them and not follow the term. So Morpheus, wait, okay, there it goes right here.
Fool.
Who is this? Tony Chiba putting it up, right? So we're gonna take a station break before we get to round two. Morpheus, listen, I'm not trying to tell you to buy us out, but I'm trying, right? Going. So, Morpheus, you get a Cash App yet?
Nobody cares.
Two, unless
Vince.
so we can move on. This is just what I want to say. The first part is the misuse of the term freedmen to apply to things that it don't damn apply to. Now we're going to tell you what it does apply to. How we doing, Morph?
Nothing. Same. I'm still at the same place.
Okay, anyway, so his claim is freedman status was only temporary wartime classification, right? But the freedman status carried into post-war civil governance and appears in Reconstruction court cases 1875, which is past 1872 when the Freedmen Borough so-called died. So now we have Reconstruction court cases 1875, Brother Reggie, little buddy. That's 3 years after when you said it died. But it still shows his face in the Reconstruction court cases 1875, Civil Rights Acts and the Civil Rights Act debates. It's the foundation of black citizenship law. That's why it keeps rearing its head. Okay. So you can't say it's temporary or died when descendants of freedmen are still in court today with those same papers. Okay. So Reconstruction laws still binding. All right.
Hey, family, somebody got $5, $10? Come on.
My God, dude begging to lie, to pay for lies.
Brother, I've always thought that about.
So now, this is where Lord Abba's fake freedman concept that he wants to be the head of, this is where it dies right now. First of all, why can I talk about this? Well, I can talk about this because...
he a lawyer. Watch this. Why she lying? Say a lawyer.
I wrote an article with Dr. Jahi Issa, Dr. Jahi.
And we debunked that dumb article. Go ahead and go to my archives. You'll see the video. I debunked his Black City plan. It was a goofball, nothing burger, where he does not know law, made stupid, simple law mistakes that no lawyer or legalese or anybody that takes that, go to school for that will make mistakes. The mistakes he made, they won't make those same mistakes. The dude is just a fraud, just all around.
They all want
You don't care about your person.
Others talk about it for somebody. Okay, so people into a race-neutral term called freemen and free women. Groups such as the Moors, FBA, and now Freedmen have an interest in separating our people from Africa and the term black. Today,
now how are we trying to separate the term black when the B in FBA stands for black? Like, the dude is just dumb. He said, look, one more time, family, FBA, the B in the FBA stands for black. So how you come to the conclusion we're trying to separate ourselves from black? Africa for sure, but black, come on, man.
I'm going from into a race-neutral term called Freedmen and Free Women. Groups such as the Moors, FBA, and now Freedmen have an interest in separating our people from Africa and the term Black. Today, I'm going to deal with the misuse of the Freedmen term. The term was not on my radar, right, as problematic until that last show that we actually just showed, right? I want to talk about something else that me and Morpheus is dealing with. We're dealing with the origins of Yahweh, right? For you Hebrew Israelites, Yahweh was
all over the place.
Like they intellectually unravel this false who just almost as good as somebody who's a GED graduate. It usually doesn't make sense. It's not comprehensive. It's not historical, right? And what they do is they take it out of its original context and they put it in another context. So whatever Lord Abba started with, Webster definition of freedmen, that's the game. Now we're going to see where it is. So the first thing is, to understand a freedman, we got to read the bill. What is the bill? The Freedmen Bill. So let's read the bill of the freedmen. This is where it all starts. It don't start with no dictionary item that
this dude is nuts.
We were all we were freedmen. We were all freed. Those who were free. It doesn't start that way, because all of us were not freed during the after the Civil War. So let's go put it.
Dude, it's not about being freed. It was never about just being freed, family. It was about, because you had 300 to 500,000 free Black people, but they had no rights that a white man was bound to respect. It was about being a citizen, family. We fought in the Civil War to become citizens, not just freed, because the 13th Amendment freed us. But Frederick Douglass said that wasn't enough. We need citizenship. So that's why you got the 1865 13th Amendment. Then you got the 1868 14th Amendment, which gave us citizenship, right? We didn't go for the nothing burger where we're just free and no citizenship. We didn't do that. We said, no. Go back in there and do another amendment where we get birthright citizenship. Okay, we're now American citizens. All right?
Give you some information. The historical bill, H.R. 613, 39th Congress, 1865 to 1867. I would think that if you want to talk about where it starts, you would put up the bill that it starts with. It's a bill by Europeans. It's basically a welfare bill. So can I blow this up?
A welfare bill? Wow.
Let's see if I can blow this up a little bit more. So let's read it. Let's see where but he believes that gives us status. We're going to deal with that. In the Senate of the United States, May 30th, 1866, read twice and referred to the Committee of Military Affairs and the Militia, June 11th, 1866, reported by Mr. Wilson with amendments. These strike out the parts in brackets and insert those in italics. To continue in force and to amend an act to establish a bureau for the relief of freedmen and refugees and for other purposes. This is where we see the term, the relief of freedmen and refugees. Freedmen and refugees being enacted by the Senate and House of Representatives of the United States of America and Congress, similar that this act is to establish a bureau for the relief of freedmen and refugees, approved March 3rd, 1865, shall continue in force for the term of 2 years, and after that, the passage of the act. And be it further enacted that the supervision and care of the bureau shall extend to all loyal refugees and freedmen. They got to be loyal refugees and freedmen, so far as the same shall be necessary to enable them as speedy as practicable to become self-supporting citizens of the United States and to aid them in making the freedom conferred by proclamation of the Commander-in-Chief. by emancipation under the laws of the state and by the constitutional amendment available to them and beneficial to the republic.
Alicia Hill,
Section 3, that the president shall be, and with the advice and consent of the Senate, appoint 2 assistant.
Who's in the chat saying crazy stuff? Call need to donate to my GoFundMe. I'm black and smoke crack. All right, well, so you need some help, man. And they're making it a health crisis now, so you good. And ain't nobody gonna lock you up. For myself, no, nobody gonna support your drug habit, suspected white supremacists. Go cop your ice. Go cop your ice. You dig? And you good. That's all. But no need for you to be in here though.
The commissioners, in addition to those authorized by the act into which this is an amendment, who shall give like bonds and receive the same annual salaries provided in an act, in each of the assistant commissioners of the Bureau shall have charge of one district containing such refugees or freedmen to be assigned to him by the commission. So basically, this is a bureau set up to administrate resources to people who were freed during the Civil War, right? And basically, it sets out jobs for officers who will help discharge relief for those people who were in fact freed, right? So I'm giving you this so that you can read it, and I'm gonna go in a little further, right? So basically, Freedmen comes from a bureau that's going to support people who were freed after the Civil War. That's what it is.
He's all over the place, family.
Now, okay.
Sometimes you realize that.
Again, this does not apply to all of us. Initial passage and purpose. The original Freedmen's Bureau Act was passed on March 3rd, 1865. During the Lincoln administration, its primary purpose, watch this family, was to aid former slaves and poor whites in the South through various forms of assistance. It was welfare. It didn't give us no particular status. It's a bureau that gives resources to aid former people who was enslaved. Not all of our people. Key provisions. The act establishes the Bureau of Refugees, Freedmen, and Abandoned Lands, commonly known as the Freedmen's Bureau. Its responsibilities included providing food, housing, medical care to former slaves and poor whites. Oh, poor whites too. Establishing schools and educational opportunities, negotiating labor contracts between freedmen and plantation owners, legalizing marriages of former slaves, managing abandoned lands.
Hold on, Reg. Whoa. Did you just read that white people are also included in freedmen?
In the Freedmen Act.
In the
They're
Freedmen
not considered.
Act.
You see how they chasing. I'm gonna be more nice and choose my words more sensitively. Okay. Were white people included in it? It's hard to choose these words wisely. Yes, fool. They are the ones who started the Freedmen Bureau. They are the ones who started slavery. They are the ones who became abolitionists. They are the ones who became Quakers. They are the ones who became plantation owners, bro. Yes. So anything outside of FB at that time, you're going to be white. But again, like he's just trying to freestyle and trying to do a gotcha thing. It doesn't work, man.
They're not considered freedmen, but they're considered, because this is a relief organization. This don't give us no power. This is a relief organization.
It's welfare.
It's welfare, right?
Yeah.
That's all it is. It was welfare. It don't give us no status. The only status is that you can receive benefits from this welfare organization because you were emancipated after the Civil War, or you was emancipated from the tribal people. All it is, it gives you nothing, family. Lord Abba's Freedmen gives you only assistance. It's goddamn welfare. Now, a
Dude is
follow-up
nuts,
bill in
yeah.
1866 was vetoed by President Andrew Johnson. Only Congress overrode Johnson's veto of an extension bill. And so basically, it was extended. The 1866 Act expanded freedmen's rights, including property ownership and access to military courts. So it gave you more rights, right? It gave you more rights, but it's a welfare organization. It gives you access to military court, challenges and oppositions. The Freedmen Bureau faced significant challenge, insufficient funding and resources, hostility from many white Southerners, opposition from President Andrew Johnson, violence from groups like the Ku Klux Klan, and then they talk about legacy and closure. Despite its short lifespan, the Freedmen's Bureau had lasting impacts, educating 200,000 students in 4,000 schools, establishing institutions like Fisk University, systemically recorded names of formerly enslaved individuals. The Bureau was ultimately dismantled in 1872 due to a lack of political will and funding. Lord Albert thinks that this status is helpful to us. It's simply welfare. It's the same thing that they gave the migrants in New York and some of the other states. Assistance for a short time and period. It gave you no substantial status, even though it was called Freedmen. I'm showing to you in black and white. In conclusion, Freedmen's Bureau Act represented a pioneer effort by the federal government to address the needs of newly freed slaves and poor whites in post-Civil War South. Though its effectiveness was limited by political opposition and resource constraints.
He thinks he's cooking. Hold on.
In addition to Freedmen and establishment of the Freedmen Bureau, misspelled
American
that,
Indian
that
in the
was
building.
nothing
First
more
class
than
citizen.
a welfare act to aid Africans.
He says welfare act.
To aid Africans from the South and Africans freed from slavery from the 5 civilized tribes. The Freedmen concept was a temporary measure and did not apply to the descendants of those freed and offered no power to our people. In addition, the Freedmen Act did not apply to all African descendants directly. Here are my sources. There's my sources, right? Here's my sources. Now, another question. Freedmen status, a temporary measure, not a lasting reparations program. The Freedmen's Bureau, officially known as the Bureau of Refugees, that's what they call us. The Bureau of Refugees, Freedmen, and Abandoned Lands was established in Congress on March 3rd, 1865 to assist formerly enslaved individuals. That's not all of our people, are refugees in the aftermath of the Civil War. While often viewed as a pioneer for effort in social reconstruction, the Bureau's scope and impact was limited, particularly in relation to reparations and its applicability to all Black Americans. Temporary nature of the Freedmen status. Family. A critical aspect of Freedmen's Bureau Act was the creation of a temporary freedmen status, which was not intended to be a permanent legal classification for Black Americans. This temporary status ended with the Bureau's closure in 1872, underscoring the Act's short-term focus and its failure to address the long-lasting effects of slavery. Bonner, 1988. I didn't say it. Bonner.
You actually did say it. You didn't put the article together.
The Bureau's short lifespan of just 7 years further emphasizes its transitional nature and the lack of long-term provisions for the formerly enslaved and their descendants. The temporary nature of the freedmen status significantly weakened the Act's effectiveness. So remember, we get our freedmen status from the Freedmen Bureau, right, created by Lincoln, and it was temporary and limited. Particularly, the temporary nature of the freedmen status significantly weakened the Act's effectiveness, particularly for future generations. By not establishing a permanent legal status or ongoing support system, the Act failed to provide a foundation to sustain economics and social advancement for African Americans. This temporary approach left descendants of freedmen without any direct support or legal recognition perpetrating cycles of poverty and disadvantage initiated by slavery. Who said that? W.E.B. Du Bois. Du Bois said that. The temporary nature of the freedman status significantly weakened the act's effectiveness, particularly for future generations. By not establishing a permanent legal status or ongoing support system, the act failed to provide a foundation for sustained economic and social advancement for African Americans. This temporary approach left descendants of freedmen without any direct federal support or legal recognition, perpetrating cycles of poverty and disadvantage initiated by slavery. I guess don't argue with Brother Reggie. You go argue with W.E.B. Du Bois. The Bureau was responsible for supervising and managing matters related to refugees, freedmen, and lands abandoned or seized during the war. National Archives. Under the leadership of Major General Oliver Otis Howard, appointed by President Andrew Johnson, the Bureau operated through a network of assistant commissioners, sub-assistant commissioners, and agents in former Confederate states, border states, and District of Columbia. What this is, family, the Freedmen's Bureau is jobs for white folks to help black folks. It's welfare. But this is where someone like Lord Abba thinks that we have substantial rights in it. Assistance versus reparation. The Freedmen Bureau was primarily an assistance program rather than a reparations provision. Can't use it for reparations. It was an assistance program, right? It provided basic necessities such as food, clothing, and medical care to former slaves and impoverished whites in the South. The Bureau, of course, white folks, poor whites got to get something out of this thing too. But it also created jobs for these commissioners, right? And those people in the Bureau. It created white jobs. The Bureau focused on immediate needs like education, labor contract negotiation, and legal representation. While it attempted to settle freedmen on abandoned lands, this effort was largely unsuccessful due to President Johnson's pardons of white landowners. So this could be successful because Johnson at the same time is pardons white landowners for what they're doing to black folks. So you can run that freedmen stuff to people who don't read, who don't study.
Oh boy.
Right? You can run that fake status. It's just welfare. Yeah, sure, we need welfare. We need assistance for our people, but it don't give us, it's not what they are pushing it. Oh, we are freedmen. Being a freedman just means that you are a recipient of welfare. Nothing else. The Bureau's responsibility
This dude said welfare.
Medical care, legal representation, promoting education, legalizing marriages, assisting African American soldiers and sailors in securing back pay, enlistment bounties, and pensions. Source: Smithsonian National Museum of African American History and Culture. Limited scope and resources. The Bureau's effectiveness was severely constrained. It was chronically underfunded and understaffed, with only 900 officials, mostly white, serving millions of formerly enslaved people across the South as of 1868. 900 officials, most of them were white, serving millions of formerly enslaved people across the South. The Bureau faced significant opposition from President Andrew Johnson's administration and Southern whites. Its limited resources made it impossible to address the needs of all 4 million formerly enslaved individuals. The Bureau also encountered opposition from President Andrew Johnson's administration and the rise of the Ku Klux Klan. Source: Digital Public Library of America. Don't argue with me, right? Argue with the sources. President Andrew Johnson, a vocal critic, vetoed the reauthorization of the Bureau, expressing concern about the expansive reach. The final power over an almost countless number of agents established in every parish or county in nearly a third of the states of the Union ought never to be entrusted to any one man, Johnson. The Bureau's courts intended to protect freedmen's rights were poorly organized and short-lived. The Equal Justice Initiative. Its failure to secure land for the majority of the freedmen relegated them to the status of renters, got daggone sharecroppers, subject to the black codes, not owners, contributing their economic dependence and vulnerability to Southern white designs. This is what Law Abba is saying to us, that this is a status for us. This is a welfare status, right? Critics denounce the Bureau as a foolish effort and a waste of federal money. Who said that? Du Bois, 1935. You go argue with Du Bois.
Okay, look, run that
Benjamin
back.
Qualls. It's a foolish
Let's
effort
cook.
and a waste of federal money. Who
Let's
said
cook.
and vulnerability to Southern white designs. This is what Law Abba is saying, subject to the black codes, not owners contributing their economic dependence and vulnerability to Southern white designs. This is what Law Abba is saying to us, that this is a status for us. This is a welfare status.
All right, dude is confusing freedmen who were emancipated from slavery and given birthright citizenship. He's confusing that with white people who came up with the Freedmen Bureau that lasts about 7 years. Like, he's confusing us with a organization or some type of entity that white folks created to help us during our newly freedom.
Right? Critics denounce the Bureau as a foolish
Carter.
effort and a waste of federal money. Who said that? Du Bois, 1930.
Yeah, the Bureau, stupid. He didn't say the people. He said the Bureau. The Bureau. He's confusing the Bureau with people, our ancestors. You can't make this up. This guy is nuts.
You go argue with Du Bois and Benjamin Qualls. You go argue with Booker T. Washington. I'm not listening to you. The schools established by the Bureau inspired resentment among the white population in the South. Fauner, 1988, highlighting the racial tensions it advertently prolonged. Right? Now,
you probably got a white baby mother.
Morpheus, you still there?
I'm right here, bro.
He's asleep, dude. You just woke him up.
You gotta get some water. What do you think about what I'm reading before I go on? Right?
Well, he got his own agenda. So you guys are out of sync, trying to cook us. He out of sync. He want to talk about what he want to talk about, and you want to talk about what you want to talk about, and you trying to bring him to what you're talking about. But he like, nah, can I just hate the way I want to hate? That's why we need an FBI hate crime bill.
Is somebody telling us some bullshit, some BS?
Yo, you just body bagged his whole argument. You just body bagged his whole argument. It's not nothing to be said, really. You just body bagged it. It's like, come on.
Yeah. He was dozing off while this dude had this fake bullcrap presentation that nobody takes serious. Nobody on the net takes Brother Reggie serious. Like, he's everybody whipping board.
Yeah, you are. Yeah, you pretty much did.
Freedman, Mark. What do you get? What do you get? What do you get being a freedman? What are you getting? Food, shelter, clothing, some support by white folks? But he's selling that. Shout out to Tony Macaroni, one of the flyest names on YouTube, right? Crazy Pete, that's right, I'm fired up. Tall God Haru, my brother, right? Tony Chiba, my brother for life. Latoya Ma'at, right? Not free, she says, not free to be a welfare recipient, right? Shame, shame, shame. So this is what Lord Abba is selling you about we freedmen. Well, all that means is you're a welfare system. You're a welfare recipient.
Wow.
That's all you are. Right?
Wow.
Hello?
Wow.
But see what they do is they dig in the crates and they find all of these mystery terms, Morpheus. You know how that works, right? All these unforgotten books. What do you call them? Forgotten books, right? They go dig in these old laws and then they try to make it applicable, right? They try to make it applicable. Now they want to apply some fake term to hip hop to say that we freemen. Freemen are welfare recipients. Inapplicability to pre-war free blacks. The Freedmen's Bureau mandate did not extend to all Black Americans. Wait. The welfare system that white folks created with this status of being freemen.
Family, for him to keep saying welfare recipients. All right. So now we are people who were just freed from slavery, bondage for 200 something years, right? 1600s to the 1865, right? And he is saying, because, okay, so we were freed and white folks had put together, the federal government put together the Freedmen Bureau to assist us because we're freed. We're going to be homeless. We're going to be hungry. So these folks for 7 years, just, put together something to like kind of remedy that, remedy, remedy that, right? Where they, like I said, they give like temporary housing and whatever. So temporarily, 7 years, that was it, and not all of us, because like millions of us together. Hold on, but again, this is why I say Pan-Africanists are not too far from conservatives. So they're using a conservative talking point when they try to use welfare as like something horrible. If that 7 year thing was welfare, then what the hell is the Homestead Act of 1862 when they gave away 270 million acres of land to white folks freely, and each person had 160 acres of land each they all had that. What is that? That's the real welfare. Okay, that's the real welfare. So no, guiding us in our freedom, you want to call that welfare? That's a ridiculous, hateful stretch. Like, who is this guy? Like, he's talking like he's like, from Libya somewhere.
Did not extend to all Black Americans. It was specifically created to aid refugees and freedmen, focusing on the recently emancipated, not those earlier. The Bureau's activities were geographically limited to the southern states and the District of Columbus. Black Americans who were free before the Civil War, particularly those in the South and the North, were not direct beneficiaries of the Bureau services. And yo, you can miss me with that.
Oh, wait, so do he really believe the Bureau services has serviced every last millionth freedman emancipated from slavery, enslavement? Is this dude nuts? Yeah, do the free blacks? Okay, he's comparing the 3 to 500,000 free blacks who had land, who had money, wealth. Yeah, of course they don't need any help. They were already good. This dude is terrible, yo. That's why they free. They were born free and they had access to resources that enslaved people didn't have. So of course I mean, oh God, this guy's terrible.
That BS and that loud talk and that fake tough talk, right?
The
now we're
Mandalorian.
getting down into the sticks, right? You selling us a bag of tricks. Now, no provisions for descendants. The
No what?
absence of any provision. Huh?
No what? No what? No what? What did it say? No what?
No provisions for descendants.
Mm.
The absence of any
What?
provision for the descendants of enslaved Africans further underscores the limitations of the Freedmen's Bureau Act.
Family, this dude is reading a WordPad document stuff. Where's this coming from? As far as we know, this dude typed that up. Like, where's the website, my boy?
It don't give you nothing for the descendants. No provisions. One, the act focused solely on immediate assistance to those directly transitioning from slavery to freedom. Welfare.
It did not establish any long-term programs or benefits that would extend to future generations. Welfare only for the recipients. The lack of provisions for descendants highlights the Act's short-term focus and its failure to address the long-lasting effects of slavery. We are not all freemen. We're not all welfare recipients. This omission is particularly significant when considering the intergenerational impact of slavery and ongoing economic disparities faced by African Americans. The Freedmen's Bureau failure to include any provision for descendants meant that the cycle of poverty and disadvantage initiated by slavery continued long after the Bureau's dissolution. Who has said that? Du Bois. We're going to find out what Du Bois said. I'm not listening to you. I'm not listening to y'all making up terms, can't read, really can't write, lying to our people. By not addressing the needs of future generations, the Freedmen's Bureau Act effectively limited its impact to a single generation, leaving subsequent generations of African Americans without direct federal support to overcome the legacy of slavery. That's the status you want? Is that the status you want? Waiting for the federal government, right? Who's going to give you limited support, and you walking around talking about you're a freedman. Are we that stupid? This further emphasizes that the act was not designed as a comprehensive reparations program, but rather a temporary assistance measure for those immediately affected by emancipation. It sounds like the migrant laws in New York, giving them food stamps, giving them housing, is temporary. Influence on civil rights. Despite
is this dude crazy? Yeah, this guy said he compared it to migrants in New York. Little buddy, you do know we were enslaved and they worked us for free to make their country, to make this country great. You know, you do know we built the country and didn't get paid for it, right? And he's sitting there yelling and blaming us. Yeah, this guy is weird. You do know we were used to build the country for over 200 years with no compensation. And you're mad at us? You're mad at us for what? He's a goyim. Yeah, this dude is nuts. Like, we don't even understand what he's arguing about. Why are you mad at us for being enslaved and then becoming free? And then white man create a little Freedmen Bureau to assist us a little bit for 7 years. Why are you mad at us? What did we do? You said migrants, people who fled their country, looking for a better opportunity, coming to our country, the country we built. How is that comparable to us? Like, we deserve reparations, free labor. So doing the whole Freedmen Bureau, that wasn't reparations. We're like, nah, keep that. Cut the check. That's what our ancestors was talking about. Those freed men and freed women at that time was like, nah, cut the check. Dude is nuts, like out of his mind. And that's why most of his work is just nothing burgers. Nobody watch it. They're unattractive. They don't go viral. He's not invited to like serious channels and serious panels, all goofy stuff. Cherry pick goofy panels.
its limitations, the Freedmen's Bureau played a significant role in shaping the development of civil rights laws in the United States. Its work and the challenges it faced highlight the need for more comprehensive and permanent legal protections for African Americans. Precursor to
Life said, Ron, we built the oldest buildings in America. A lot of them are in ruins. Some got refurbished for government use. They owe us everything. Right. This dude is nuts. Salida American Indian says, anyone see O'Shea Duke Jackson last video regarding the Pan-Africans and how they are working with African leaders to get FBA to come to Africa to get scammed? Nah, you know, hey, look, we're 43 million. Some of us watch certain people. Some of us don't. Right? Nobody's a leader. Nobody can tell us who to watch and not watch. But I don't really watch Anton Daniels. I don't watch O'Shea Duke Jackson. I tried. I gave them chances. They're not for me. They're not for me.
civil rights legislation. The Freedmen's Bureau Act of 1865 represented one of the first attempts by the federal government to define and protect the civil rights of African Americans in the post-slavery era. This pioneering effort led the groundwork for future civil rights legislation, most notably influenced the Civil Rights Act of 1866. So you freedmen, the Bureau, okay, it wasn't good enough, right? It led the way for more substantial. Walking around giving yourself freedman status is wasting your time and ours, right? It will influence the Civil Rights Act of 1866, right? Because of its shortcomings. But you want to rock with the status of freedmen. That's what you want to sell to our community. More of what you got to say.
I ain't got nothing to say, bro. You right now, you just killing it. I'm just sitting back.
I mean, when you get walking around with a freeman, would you want a freeman on a name on your.
Meanwhile, he's pushing African American. All right. These Pan-Africanists, right? They want race-based reparations, which are nothing burgers. That's how they sabotage our reparation claims. And they want it handled by same state governments that redlined us, nothing burgers. Meanwhile, freedmen are pulling federal receipts, Adolph's FBA. We're pulling federal receipts from 1865 with names, treaties, and bank accounts. See, one side got fillings like him, the other side got statutes. Okay, so history has receipts. We got receipts. We got the numbers. So he tries to come off confident, sarcastic, like he's really cooking. Dude, stop it. He said only people like him can talk about reparations because he wrote about it in 2017, comparing it to hip hop pioneers needing flyers from set 1979. Like little jabs at Tariq Nasheed. We went over his article in 2017. It was a garbage, nothing burger. We went over his Black City plan. It's like a third grader wrote it. It is horrible. Reparations advocacy for the Freedmen lineage goes back to the Freedmen's Bureau, 1865. Little buddy. The Colored Conventions movement, Callie's House's National Ex-Slave Mutual Relief Fund, 1898, and Queen Mother Audley Moore's 1950s to 1970s campaigns all predated his 2017 article by over a century. The dude is a nothing burger. Okay, so he thinks reparations started when he hit upload on his 2017 paper. It started when our ancestors signed freedmen rolls, not when you bought a domain name, fool. Reparation receipts go back to 1865, and he wants them to go back to. I ain't even gonna say that. Right. He keeps saying the term freedman was created by Europeans as a welfare label, not a legal status. Well, Section 2 of the Freedmen's Bureau Act 1865 explicitly empowered the Bureau to aid in the transition from slavery to citizenship, family. This is what he calls welfare. Section 2 of the Freedmen's Bureau Act 1865 explicitly empowered the Bureau to aid in the transition from slavery to welfare. So we're transitioning. I mean, I said welfare. My fault. I got his goofy, dirty language in my mouth. Pause. Let me repeat that. Ignore that. Scratch that from the record. Omit that. Section 2 of the Freedmen's Bureau Act of 1865 explicitly empowered the Bureau to aid in the transition from slavery to citizenship. The Bureau was temporary because citizenship was supposed to replace bondage, not because it was just welfare. It was a federally enacted classification tied to rights, labor contracts, land claims, and legal protection. Not charity, buddy, little buddy. So the Freedmen Bureau was temporary to get us from bondage, enslavement to citizenship, because the goal or idea was once we have citizenship, then we can enjoy the liberties that citizenship is supposed to bring you. Okay, that's why we was doing good with the citizenship with the Black Reconstruction, right? So that led to that. The Freedmen Bureau led to Black Reconstruction. So that actually kind of worked. All right. He calls it welfare, but the welfare office wrote the legal blueprint for citizenship. Okay. So you could look at, it's funny how he equates Freedmen Bureau to welfare when Freedmen Bureau was more closely related to the civil rights movement. Okay. He says poor whites were also covered, so freedmen status wasn't racial or unique to black people. FBA. Okay. Well, how about this? Poor whites received temporary refugee aid, but they were never classified as freedmen. Dusty man. The bureau's charter distinguishes freedmen and refugees. So refugees got aid, freedmen's got aid, but we're two different people. Only free persons of our lineage had claims tied to emancipation. Whites weren't enslaved, little buddy, so they were indigent. All right, hold on. Okay. So he read refugees and freedmen and thought that meant the same thing, family. So dogs and cats mean the same thing. But now this is the guy who claims can't write, can't say we can't write, we can't read. But he read refugees and freedmen and thought they were interchangeable. That's why I call him little buddy. Refugees, as we know, and freedmen are not equivalent. So before you start talking that citation stuff, you should learn conjunctions, little buddy. Okay, where we at? Where we at? So he said the bureau was short-lived, and he called it welfare. He said not a status with rights. Okay, the bureau's authority expired in 1872 because the 13th, 14th, and 15th Amendments incorporated its protections into permanent constitutional law. Exactly the opposite of no status. The Bureau ended because it did its job. Okay. So temporary agency went to permanent amendments. So it went from Federal Bureau to 13th, 14th, and 15th Amendments. That's called progression. Right. He uh he said freedman status didn't include descendants. We all heard him say that. It didn't include descendants. So it ended with the first generation. This is a bonehead Libyan. Okay. The 1866 Civil Rights Act, drafted from the Bureau's work, declared all persons born in the United States citizens. So it declared all persons born in the United States, they are citizens, making lineage to the freedman generation the legal root of American birthright citizenship. Freedmen descendants equals all post emancipation FBA family. That's all of us. Dude is a nut. So freedmen That's how we start off, family. Our family went from freedmen's or freedmen. I said men's. They went from freedmen to citizens. Okay, so family, we are the continuation. It evolved from freedmen to citizens. The Federal Bureau evolved to the 13th, 14th, 15th Amendments. He said the Bureau, all it did was create jobs for whites and it had 900 officials, mostly white. Yeah. Okay, yeah, I gotta do my Charleston White. Yeah. Okay, because Black Americans, we were legally barred from civil services, from civil roles until Reconstruction matured, little buddy. So black agents like John R. Lynch, Fannie Barry Williams, and Major Martin Delaney still served, and the Bureau trained the first black federal officers and teachers. So the Bureau equaled training ground for future black federal power. This is a fool with a microphone and a podcast.
On your belt. You want to walk around with a Freedman jacket. You want a sweatshirt that says Freedman or a hat. That makes you feel special. Well, if it does, you're just a welfare recipient. That means you got some aid. It don't give you no power. It's not even like the Black Panther movement or people shouting Black Power. That was at least self-determination. You're a welfare recipient. Look, we all need aid at some point. Aid helps. Social Security is aid. I'm not knocking that, but I'm not running around talking about I'm a freedman, and that's what we call ourselves.
I am safe.
I'm walking around. It's like I'm getting Project Cheese. I got the status, yo. What's the status, yo? I show this card, man, and they give me the bologna and the cheese, yo, and the milk and some cereal. Yo, you ain't got the card? Nah. Yo, how you get the card? Just say you're a freedman.
What is he? Yeah. He's definitely on the narcotic.
Yo, go down to the Freedmen Bureau. Yo, they give you on blankets and stuff like that. Did our people need that? Yes. Right?
I want to know how many people in the chat understand. Right? I mean, like really understand what you just did.
Nobody, because it made no sense. It was a nothing burger move. Nobody understand what he just did. You don't even understand it. Okay, brother Reg, be quiet and let him explain what you just did. Go ahead and make a fool of yourself.
I'm not even finished yet. I'm not finished. But you go ahead, ask. I need a break.
Look, I'm not finished yet. Yeah, they are just talking over each other. Like this duo don't even mesh well.
I'm just curious to see if people are actually really understanding what this whole Freedman thing is. After you just exposed, right? I expose and we show and we give you definitions. We're giving you the documentation. We're giving you the court legislate, all this stuff. How many people really understand what you just, what we've been doing, what we've been explaining?
Nobody, because you really ain't explain anything.
Because if you don't, I mean, I don't know.
First one, if you understand what I've been reading. Family. If you understand clearly now that you have
family, it's only one person in their chat. You talking about press 1 if you understand. Family, there's only one person in the chat. You think I'm kidding? Let me scroll down, show you the views. This is almost a year ago, family. This is January 5th. This is the first month. We're in the 10th month right now. Okay? They got 270 views total now. So that means from January 5th, 2025 to today. Late Saturday night, early Sunday morning, 279. So that means when this was done, they had one person in the chat. Okay, and the one person didn't even show one. Matter of fact, it says right here, it says show chat replay.
More insight on what a freedman status.
Okay, so you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 people, family. 1, 2. So you got Tamika, Pan-African Design. Oh, this is the guy we cook. Hey, family, this is the dude James. This is Pan-African James right here. You see right here, Pan-African Designs and Apparel. This is Pan-African James. This is the guy who we cooked. Myself, ex-architect, and the Holy FBA Codex TV1. This is Pan-African James, family. So he got Pan-African James. He got Tamika. He got this is Unc. This is the guy we cooked. This Unc. He come over and get cooked. So 2 people, Pan-African, 3 people, Pan-African James, Unc, and Brother Reggie came over and got cooked. So we got 1, 2, 3. This is Unc. 4. This is Reggie Man. And 5, 6 people. I wasn't lying. 6 people total. I said 1. Oh shit! It was 1, and then 5 others finally showed up. 6 people total. So he acting like he's talking to like a large audience. Like I got 46 right now at 1 a.m. Unexpected live, 1 a.m. This dude is in peak time, prime time, and got 6 people.
Is.
Yeah, please.
I'll wait.
Press 1 if you understand. Press 2 if you don't understand.
Right. Creation of the boundaries universe said it's an obvious distinction between a free man and a freed man. Killing them.
Wait, what did you just say? Shit. I hate when it does that, man. What is that? It takes forever to load up. What is that?
Understand. Press 2 if you don't understand.
Right. Creation of the boundaries universe said it's an obvious distinction between.
So the chat will still come up. Don't worry. The chat is going to still come up. So you'll see the chat. Anyway, so far nobody even pressed 1 or 2.
A free man and a freed man.
6 people.
Killing them. A free man, and that's brilliant right there. And a free man. You get, where's the bombs? You get a bomb for that, right? Right? Lord Alpha's situation is
Look. Family, hold on. I gotta do this. Look, I just said Pan-African Designs and Apparel is James. She said, peace, James. Told you. I'm not lying. That's Pan-African James. So he let Brother Reggie put a battery in his back. He comes over here and gets annihilated in the worst way. That's why I say when we do people dirty, it's different than it's different than Tariq and other people. We really do people dirty. The holy ex-architect myself destroyed, like he can never, matter of fact, the channel I met him from, family, I ain't seen him back over there since. You know the weird dude, Proper Perspective I beat up, he had some momentum before, he had like a little bit of momentum before he came over here. Chat. This dude be having like 7 total live viewers since he came over here. They be getting crushed where their supporters be like, nah, I'm out. Chaotic Truth. Look at his views. They didn't grow 1 iota since he got killed over here by me and Tiger Crane, Shakir. We did him so dirty. The dude, again, their audience lead, like when I debate, the audience grows. We went from 2 people to 20 to 40 to sometimes we got 180, 230. You did, like we grow from debates because we cook and win. These guys debate, they lose, get destroyed, and their audience go down. Dr. Mayat, all of them, 30 people live. Man, if I showed y'all Dr. Mayat last video, it's near the 200. It's near his thing. It's near this. And that's Dr. Mayat, Hidden Colors. She got her last video, her last live video. She had about 200 people. She had about 5 live people checking her out because of the expose that I've done on her. And you guys witnessed. You guys came through, gave me a chance. I was like, damn, she went like that. And you guys lost faith in her, hope in her. You did the same thing with Professor J. Smalls. Like, we thought, oh, Hidden Colors, oh, he must know what he's talking about. We expose him. He flip flops. 1 minute, FBA is the white man slop. Next minute, he's FBA and Pan-Africanist. Yeah, nah, we can't do that. We can't do that. But yeah, that's Pan-African James right there.
Don't understand the distinction between a freedman and a freedman.
What the hell? Timothy.
Yeah.
God dang, right?
So I'm looking
He
at
was
the
number
numbers.
one. Right. He's the first one put
Big
number
Guns
one.
and Music says 3 if you don't agree. So you don't agree with what you don't agree with what? With what the documentation says?
No,
You don't
the way what you read and what you stand for is just goofy. It makes no sense.
agree with what the legislation says? You don't agree what because you don't like it? Or you don't agree? Do you think we just typed all this up and we just made this up ourselves? What are you saying?
That's why he's big guns in music, right? That's where and he's a freedman. He's not a free man, right? So
What? A free man, not a. He's a freed man, not a free man.
people
That's
will
not
do
bars.
that, but right now he's in a minority. Hey, yo, big guns in music, you don't even move the needle. Jay, anybody else, right? Anybody else got a one? Jay's there.
Yeah,
Latoya
Latoya.
Ma'at is there, right?
Yeah.
Here you go, Tony Chiba. EBT public housing and child support was our reparations. Hey, Lord Abba, your battleship is sunk, yo. Because you go over here and talk about it's some status that gives us something, and we find out is welfare cheese is nothing. It's for refugees. It's blankets, right? You could call me a whole bunch of names, but your scholarship is trash, yo. It's trash. You selling out people this is some status?
And look, and he's doing all that in the absence of Naeem. Like he what happens when he's in front of you? He always do Brother Reggie dirty. Always.
To be a welfare recipient?
First class citizen says, who would ever thought a Libyan camel burger eater would be so involved in our business, right? This and just hateful, man. Disdain, vitriol, just hates us.
Wow.
So, but you had an obligation to shoot your shot. You did a whole show, yo. Did it say that they was giving them money? It didn't even say that they was giving them money.
Wow.
Oh, I'm not finished.
He fell off years ago.
Federal enforcement rights. Wait, okay. The Freedmen's Bureau efforts to enforce civil rights at the federal level within states set an important precedent for future federal intervention. Future, where we at? Federal intervention in civil rights matters. The approach would later prove crucial in implementing and enforcing civil rights laws through the 20th century. Civil rights laws based on various issues of discrimination. First of all, you have to understand is all of this happened because we were black. We were called black by them, right? It was racial. Limitations highlighting the need for stronger laws,
The shortcomings of the Freedmen's Bureau underscore the necessity for more substantial and enduring civil rights. You got nothing for being a freedman except for some support, some welfare. The poorly organized and short-lived nature of the Bureau's courts emphasize the need for a more permanent judicial framework to protect freedmen's rights. It wasn't enough. So why? It's short-lived. It was limited. So you're going to go back to some limited rights? That's what we want? No.
The dude he's calling the Freedmen Bureau limited rights. This was a small temporary organization to guide us, help us transition from bondage to citizenship. 13, 14, 15 amendments. We're going to take it from there. Okay, so the aid was not supposed to last long. It's to help us transition to be freed men and freed women.
See, somebody conning you.
With rights.
The Bureau's failure to achieve widespread land redistribution. The Bureau's failure to achieve widespread land redistribution highlights
Exactly. The Bureau's failure. Right.
the importance of including economic provisions in the future civil rights legislation to address the root causes of inequality. So Lord Albert wants to take us back to a point where there was a failure to achieve widespread land redistribution. The Freedmen's Bureau was not successful. The status gave us nothing, Lord Abba.
No, that's not the status. The Freedmen Bureau is a bunch of white people who's supposed to aid us. So if they came up short, what they got to do with us? Like they were supposedly supposed to help us and aid us and guide us. If they come up short, then white folks came up short. Well, what they got to do with us? The Freedmen Bureau is not the status, stupid. The Freedmen Bureau is an organization that was supposedly designed to aid us, help us, guide us. He's mixing that up with the freedman status. This dude is crazy, yo. The medication, man, or whatever illicit drugs he's taking, gotta stop.
And you people that follow him, you're just going in and looking at forgotten books and looking at outdated laws with limitations and giving our people no analysis. The limited authority and resources of the Bureau, especially in the face of continued hostility from white Southerners, demonstrated the need for stronger federal enforcement mechanisms and future civil rights efforts. The rise of the Ku Klux Klan and increased violence against freedmen and their allies during and after the Bureau's operation showed that more comprehensive protections were necessary to ensure safety.
Damn, you got cooking this dude. Brian Henderson said, a ninja with a speech impediment can't tell us a damn thing. Old lisp, mush mouth ass ninja. This man sounds slow for real. Yeah, exactly. And he wonder why he never popped on the net. It's like, dude, you don't have what it takes, my boy. Nothing about you. Your speech, your look, your delivery, nothing. It's a nothing burger. That's all.
In the rights of African Americans. You having a freedman status, yo, it didn't save you, yo, from the Ku Klux Klan. It was just a status, yo. I'm a freedman. I got it on my back. I got it on my belt, right? And the black laws in the South, the black codes was kicking us in the butt. But you want a status. You want to run and say, oh, our people are freedmen, welfare recipients.
No, what we want to say is pay me what you owe me. It's my money and I want it now. It's my money and I can spend it how? Stop pocket watching. That's what we want to say.
These limitations of the Freedmen Bureau ultimately contribute to the realization that more substantial, permanent, and far-reaching civil rights were needed. This understanding would go on to influence the development of future legislation and constitutional amendment aimed at securing civil rights for Americans regardless of race. The work of the Freedmen's Bureau.
Oh, wait. So you gonna ignore that right there? This dude don't even know when he giving us flowers.
But you want a status. You want to run and say,
look how fast he read it.
Freedmen, welfare recipients. These limitations of the Freedmen Bureau ultimately contribute to the realization that more substantial, permanent, and far-reaching civil rights were needed. This understanding would go on to influence the development of future legislation and constitutional amendment aimed at securing civil rights.
So now look what it influenced. And he's just going to read fast it with no commentary. But it influenced, it was limited because it was limited. But look what it influenced later on. The civil rights movement of 1964, 1950s to the 1960s.
For Americans, regardless of race. The work of the Freedmen's Bureau also highlighted the need for the constitutional protections for African Americans.
Right, that's civil rights, my boy.
To the passage of the 13th, 14th, and 15th Amendments. These amendments which abolished slavery, at least granted citizenship to all persons in the United States, and prohibited racial discrimination in voting, respectively, were in part of a response to the issues and challenges identified through the Bureau's operations because it failed. But Abba wants to take us back to a point in period, a point in history where the civil rights laws, the 13th, 14th, 15th Amendment didn't apply, just so he could say that we were all freedmen, but not freedmen. The Bureau's records provide valuable insights into the lives of newly freed individuals and the social conditions of the poor post-war South. Smithsonian National Museum of American History and Culture. However, due to waning political will and growing pressures from the South, Congress dismantled the Federal Bureau in 1872. So if they
wait. He read past that pretty fast. Hold on.
Conditions of the poor post-war South. Smithsonian National Museum of American History and Culture. However, due to waning political will and growing pressures from the South, Congress dismantled the Federal Bureau in 1872. So if they dismantled it, then the freedmen concept is short-lived. It's done.
You hear him? He's confusing the Freedmen Bureau, a bunch of white people set out to aid us, to help us transition from a slavery status to a freed person status, citizenship. He's confusing that with us being freedmen. He doesn't understand that the Freedmen Bureau was designed to aid freed men. That's like saying, hey family, that's like saying the unemployment agency is designed to help those who were working and now unemployed. The unemployment agency is just something set up. Okay? But the unemployed are real people. The unemployment agency, the Freedmen Bureau agency, were set up to aid and help freed men. Unemployment agency is designed to help people who lost work and are unemployed. They're separate things, fool. It's no way he can believe that and got all these degrees. There's no way. There's no way there's no way he's missing that. Can his hate for us make him miss that like that? It's crazy. So his hate for us makes him go retarded.
Leaving many African Americans to contend with persistent racial attitudes and discrimination.
AM6 says one is a structure, the other is people. Right. Yeah, this like I said, like the unemployment agency. What that got to do with people that file for unemployment? Yeah. Oh my God.
On their own. Family, walking around saying that you was a freedman is not a status that's helpful to us.
But you didn't prove why it's not helpful. You're just saying that. But where did you read that? Now he's reading something, but why what you read didn't conclude that? This Libyan dude just hating.
While the Freedmen's Bureau itself was a temporary measure with limited scope and effectiveness, its legacy in shaping the trajectory of civil rights laws in the United States is significant. it wasn't enough. The Bureau's experience and limitations served as a catalyst for more comprehensive civil rights legislation. So why don't we go forward instead of going back, right? In America, however, it is crucial to recognize that the Bureau's closure in 1872 and the temporary nature of the freedom status left many temporary nature of the freedmen status left many African Americans and descendants to face.
Oh, so it was a status. You say you just read past that? The freedman status, but he read past it like he didn't say that.
It's ongoing. However, it is crucial to recognize that the Bureau's closure in 1872 and the temporary nature of the freedom status left the temporary nature of the freedman status left many African Americans and descendants to face ongoing discrimination, economic challenges without federal support, and underscoring the need for continued efforts to address the long-lasting effects of slavery and systemic racism.
Iconic S, thank you for the Cash App donation, brother. It will be appreciated. You are definitely contributing to my stay in the diner all week. And then my son is going to start school Tuesday. Monday's a holiday, so that's less money spent, right? That's less person eating. That's one less person eating. So the money's gonna go a long way, right? Because I love going live there. It's peaceful. The people are starting to see me more and more there. And starting Tuesday, I'll be there with no kid. I can't wait for that, man. It's gonna feel crazy. It's gonna feel light. I'm gonna feel like I'm missing something for sure. But yeah, so the donations, I appreciate them because, like I said, they allow me to kick up. I'm a person who loves to study in open places, libraries, but of course I can't go live in the library. But the library is like one of my settings. Starbucks, um, nice Dunkin' Donuts with that got cuts, like where you could sit in a cut and be away from everybody and go live. I look for places like that. If you got a cut and you're like place where you sell coffee and pastries, that's what I target. And tomorrow, I want to be there from the morning, like 9, 10 a.m., all the way to about not about 4. That's my goal. My goal tomorrow with enough donations. My goal tomorrow is be there from 9, 10 a.m. to about 4. So you figure I go live 10 a.m. to whatever, maybe 4. Because I want to finish up on this. So I got 2 more hours of this, and then I want to go back to this one. We got 2 more hours of this one. So that's 4 hours. This coon conservative right here looks zesty. Yo, why all the haters look zesty?
See, this is when somebody's selling you, right, a bag of
F
rocks,
Africa
right? So I'm check this out. I'm a
family. I troll him whenever I see him on somebody's panel, like, cause he be trying to go to channels that fail too. And when he end up on that channel, I be in the chat lighting him up. I got his email. The dude is afraid to come over here, man. And when he come over here, the first 2 times I let him run his mouth without, stopping him. Cause I really didn't know what he was saying. Like I'm trying to learn him. Like, what they do? What is your problem with FBA? I couldn't even like understand it. And then I realized he got this obsession with Tariq. I'm like, okay, outside of that, what is your problem with the lineage? Oh, it's not a lineage, it's a made up term. Well, then every term is made up. And we didn't agree with the other former terms. They were given to us by our oppressors, our enslavers, and the other ones that we chose for ourselves, which is black. And then a coon came out of nowhere and a liberal coon came out of nowhere and tried to give us African American. He tried to make us immigrants. None of us really took that one. We still called ourselves black after that. So yeah, there's nothing wrong with identifying yourself. That's called it. That's called and endonym. It's all ethnonyms. But when you label yourself as an endonym, when someone else label you something, that's an exonym. But they're both ethnonyms.
Do FBA just as dirty, but almost just as dirty. I'm gonna do the FBA just as dirty. See, we like compound words, right? And the people that put these definitions together, I'm telling you, man, a GED education ain't good enough, yo. See, I got college, yo. I got college.
Yeah, but we don't hear when you speak. We don't hear college. We hear GED. So you're shooting down people saying they got GED education, you got college education. But yeah, the difference is because Tariq, she's a dropout. But when he talks and you talk, you got the GED on your speech and in your brain when you communicate and express your thoughts. And he has the degrees. Tariq, when he talks, he sound like the lettered person, and you sound like the dropout.
I write with PhDs, yo, right?
Right, I can't tell.
Look. So I don't have to make it up, yo. I might talk in the same vernacular as our people, but I got education, yo. I can look this up, and I know a bag of rocks when I see a bag of rocks. So your fake status of freedmen and people walking around, well, I'm a freedman. No, yo, it's okay. You got some soap. You got some soap. Well, let's see what Du Bois says. W.E.B. Du Bois, while acknowledging some successes of the Freedmen's Bureau, offered.
Oh, so W. Du Bois acknowledged some success from the Freedmen Bureau. Okay.
Several significant criticisms. Inadequate resources. Du Bois noted the Bureau was chronically underfunded and understaffed.
So they were underfunded and understaffed. So from the beginning, the Freedmen Bureau was a nothing burger. They were underfunded and understaffed. That doesn't sound like welfare, my guy.
Only 900 officials serving millions of formerly enslaved people across the South as of 1860.
Wait. Why are you not reading it correctly with all that energy?
Offered several significant criticisms. Inadequate resources. Offered several significant. Acknowledging some successes of the Freedmen's Bureau.
So W. Du Bois acknowledged some success of the Freedmen Bureau. What else?
Offered several significant criticisms. Inadequate resources. Du Bois noted the Bureau was chronically underfunded and understaffed.
Oh, that's why they didn't do a good job, huh? That's why they went thorough, understaffed and underfunded.
900 officials serving millions of formerly enslaved people.
Oh, so only 900 fam. You heard this stupid tether? He just read 900 people were serving millions of freedmen. How is it possible 900 people can serve millions? One more time.
Inadequate resources. Du Bois noted the Bureau was chronically underfunded and understaffed, with only 900 officials serving millions of formerly enslaved people across the South.
900 people serving millions of formerly enslaved persons.
As of 1868, Equal Justice Initiative. Failure to secure land ownership. What's the point of it if it don't give us any land? Failure to secure land ownership. Du Bois argued that the Bureau's inability to deliver the promise of 40 acres and a mule was a major shortcoming, relegating most freedmen to the status of renters rather than landowners. Your freedman status didn't get you to 40 acres and a mule. But to see those people are going to call me clown. They're going to call me a whole bunch of names.
Yeah, you sound crazy. White folks denied was rightfully ours, and you're blaming us. Yeah, you're definitely everything what they say about you, bro. You earned it.
But when I show them the information, when I show you the information, I give you a choice to decide. But if you want to be part of a sinking ship and be under somebody who want to call people out of their name, right? If that's that's your character. My character is telling our people that this status is a sinking ship and it has no applicability. What are you going to tell our fellow cards? I'm here. Why are you here? Well, I'm here because of the Freedmen Bureau Act. Okay, so what's going on? Hey, I didn't get enough provisions. I need more I need more food. I need more shelter. I need more
This is so dry.
I know y'all don't really do land, but you know, I need some rent money, and that because I'm a freeman, yo. I'm a freeman. Look, man, I'm a freeman, yo. At least give me that. It ain't giving you nothing else. Biased judicial system. Oh, I want my 40 acres in the mule. Well, the Freedmen Act failed you on that. Well, okay, I can't get can I at least get the mule? Right? Can I get some chickens? It's a welfare status. Family, you've been hoodwinked and bamboozled. Biased judicial system. While intended to protect freedmen, not freemen, freedmen from racist South
We're
courts,
freed men.
Du Bois contended that the Bureau courts tended to become centers simply for punishing whites.
Family, freedmen status became citizenship. We inherit the clause, okay, not the welfare cheese line. Freedmen status became citizenship. We inherit the clause. We didn't inherit the welfare cheese line.
Right, which created more animosity between whites and freedmen. Right, so because it only became centers for punishing whites, right? It created more animosity where we had no protection. Formalization of segregation. Du Bois argued that the Freedmen's Bureau inadvertently formalized segregation. Wait, family. Du Bois said formalization of segregation. Du Bois argued that being a freedman, the Freedmen's Bureau and the status inadvertently formalized segregation in post-Reconstruction America.
You know what inadvertently means, my boy?
Particularly through its educational initiatives. The Freedmen status formalized segregation. I bet you those limited scholars don't tell you that. Limitation of long-term impact. Du Bois lamented that the Bureau's work was left unfinished when it was dismantled in 1872, leaving African Americans without federal support to address ongoing discrimination and economic challenges. It was a do-over by Du Bois. You go get me a scholar. You go get me a scholar, right? Better than Du Bois. That's going to talk about
The dude misrepresent the hell out of Du Bois.
Give me a scholar, yo. I don't want to hear from you, right? Okay, but you know who he did bring up? He brought up Clarence Thomas and Kavanaugh. I'm going to get to that. Booker T. Washington did not have a direct critique of the Freedmen's Bureau that is mentioned in the provided search results. However, his approach and philosophy differed from the Bureau's efforts in several key ways. Washington's emphasized self-help and education for African Americans rather than relying on government assistance, welfare that Lord Albert wants us to rely on.
Well, America became a superpower relying on welfare. For example, slavery was welfare, my guy. Okay. Jim Crow was welfare, my guy. HOLC, welfare, zoning laws, welfare, burning down our cities and stealing and looting, welfare, FHA, welfare, new GI Bill, welfare, ADC, AFDC, welfare. Bro, welfare is as American as American pie. So it looks like if you don't get welfare, you're not catching up to white folks. Last time I checked, the black average household income is $25,000, and white people $388,000, and that's all based on welfare, my guy, little buddy.
He focused on economic strength and entrepreneurship as a means of racial progress, which contrasted with the Bureau's broader social welfare approach. Keep them enslaved, keep them begging. That's the status you get with the freedmen, because you was a freedman, not a free man. Washington advocated for racial uplift through industrial education and vocational training, whereas the Bureau had attempted a wide range of interventions, including land distribution, labor contract supervision. His Atlanta Compromise speech stressed a combination to the segregated system rather than challenging it directly as the Freedmen Bureau had attempted to do. So Washington believed in working within the existing social order to achieve gradual progress, while the Freedmen's Bureau had faced significant opposition for its more direct intervention in Southern affairs. It's important to note, but even the Bureau's intervention in Southern affairs, these were white people aggravating white people. And Booker T. Washington chose another, is to kind of be invisible and build schools and churches and businesses under the radar without aggravating white folks. Right? It's important to note that Washington's approach developed after the Freedmen's Bureau had already been discontinued in 1872. So his strategies were part of a response to the political realities that followed the Bureau's closure. That's the important fact. Booker T. Washington's approach was after the Bureau. The Bureau gave us nothing. So it was a do-over. Both Du Bois and Booker T. Washington, both Du Bois and Booker T. Washington came up with solutions for Black people, by Black people, to address these issues. Groups like the Freedmen supporters, who enjoyed dismantling the term Black and African Americans to push their theories, or pushing a race-neutral status. That's what Lord Abba and the Moors and all those groups of people do. They're trying to push a race-neutral status as if we weren't enslaved by Blacks, right? That we should be like free white men, right? And so they come up with these.
All right. Okay. So let me. Got 8 minutes. I'm gonna close out at 2 a.m. But let's back up. Okay, so he said the freedman status was a failure because it didn't deliver 40 acres and a mule. He said that earlier, right? General Sherman's. I mean, I'm just confused now. Like, so we didn't deliver it and it wasn't taken back after Abraham Lincoln's assassin. Like, I'm just confused now. If he's just trolling, I don't know what's going on. But General Sherman, Special Field Order number 15, 1865, did promise land. But President Andrew Johnson, nephew, overturned it under pressure from Southern planters, not from freedmen themselves. That betrayal is the proof of governmental obligation, not the absence of it, okay? So saying freedmen fell because Johnson stole their land and gave it back to the Confederates or former Confederates is like really like saying a bank failed because it got robbed. Listen, freedmen did the work and we are here to collect the debt. Real simple. He mentions Booker T. Washington, W. Du Bois, and he's talking about they did what they did, they ain't with the welfare, whatever. But here's something interesting. Booker T. Washington and W. Du Bois, they built on freedmen infrastructure, fool. Washington funded Tuskegee using bureau school models. Du Bois' Souls of Black Folk opens by tracing freedmen's transition into citizenship. Neither dismissed it, they extended it. Du Bois literally called it the nucleus of a great university. He praised it. You just didn't read past the intro when you talk about reading their work, man. So Washington Du Bois, they were pro freedmen and graduates. They were not haters like these two old men. Clarence Thompson, he said, Clarence Thompson's view proves freedmen is a race neutral So lineage talk helps conservatives kill affirmative action. He should be making up stupid stuff. Thomas' logic is disputed by every major legal historian. Freedman status was racially specific by law. Acts 1865 and 1866 used persons hereto held as slaves. Thomas twists it into undue civil rights precedent. That's on him, right? Not on us, not our ancestors, not the lineage, because we advocate lineage-based reparations.
These issues. This is not all Moors. These are some of the Moors, right? Who do this race neutral thing. The term freedman was not originally intended as a race neutral term to
sound like all Moors and me. I mean, sound like you were pushing.
Despite recent claims to the contrary. Here's why. Historical context. The term freedman specifically referred to formerly enslaved individuals who were emancipated during the Civil War.
So that cooked you then. So it can't be the Bureau, stupid.
That's who it refers to. Given that American slavery was a racially based institution, the term inherently had racial connotations. So if you want to try to make it racial neutral, you can't, because slavery was based on race. Legislative intent. Republican lawmakers who passed the Freedmen's Bureau Act clearly intended the term to refer to Black people in the South, whether formerly enslaved or not. As one Republican lawmaker said, the very object of this bill is to break down the discrimination between whites and Blacks. Okay. They landed 2023. Contemporary usage, historical records show that the freedmen were widely used as a synonym for Black people during the Reconstruction era. So freedmen was a synonym for Black people. Got you. You effed up now, right? Because freedmen and Black people is the same status. But you want us to use the term freedman, but not the term Black, right? Right. So that is a big problem, right? Because it means the same thing. Explicit racial language, as lawmakers often use freedmen interchangeably with terms like Negro and colored people in debates and legislation, indicated that they did not view it as race neutral. Scope of application: the Freedmen's Bureau was specifically tasked with assisting former enslaved people and their descendants, not all formerly unfree individuals, regardless of race. The recent arguments that freedman was a race-neutral term appears to be a modern reinterpretation, possibly motivated by contemporary debates about race-conscious politics. This view is not supported by the historical evidence of how the term was understood and used during the Reconstruction era. Now we get into some. I'm gonna close basically with this. The current Supreme Court justices Clarence Thomas, right, and Kavanaugh, as they dismantled affirmative action, seized on the opportunity to change the meaning and intent of the freedmen to make it race neutral. C, the article discusses Justice Clarence Thomas' argument in a recent Supreme Court case that the term freedmen was a formerly racial neutral category during the Reconstruction era. This claim is central to Thomas's reasoning against the constitutionality of affirmative action. So they use Lord Albert's concepts of a race neutral instead of a race system, right? I'm talking about Clarence Thomas and Kavanaugh to try to end affirmative action. Key points. Thomas, as an originalist, is supposed to interpret the 14th Amendment as it was understood when written. His argument suggests that if freemen were race neutral, then the 14th Amendment does not authorize race-conscious efforts to remedy racial discrimination. The author contends that Thomas' interpretation is clearly incorrect based on historical evidence. This attempted to reconcile originalism with its preferred outcome illustrates how originalism can be used to justify conservative policies, preferences, rather than serving a neutral interpretive framework. The article suggests that Thomas's argument exposes the limitations of his originalist interpretation, particularly when historical facts contradict desired conclusion. So let me see if I can find where this article is that I link it.
No, save your time. All right. So, family, the goal is to get to the diner sometime in the morning, start alive no later than 11, you dig, and kick my feet up at the diner. If not, so that's the plan. But plans can be successful and they can fail. So it's possible we get there 2 p.m., 1 p.m. That's all possibilities. But the goal is get it popping in the morning because people usually come. You can imagine it's people go for for usually lunch. So around 12, 1, it gets crazy. That's why I hate to go in at that time. If I'm already in there tucked away with a seat, I and when like I said when I sit down, I love when Asian people sit next to me because they don't give a goddamn what we're talking about. Zero. They're the furthest from like Karens, Asians, Indians, and the Latinos. Everybody else, oh my God. So anyway, we'll pick up on this tomorrow and thoroughly cook this dude, and then we will finish up on the conservative that believes systemic racism is a farce. We're lying, it doesn't exist. We're making stuff up. We're just parroters of the liberal party, all that kind of talk. So with that being said, family, out of here. Catch you tomorrow sometime. How about that? Peace. And again, I appreciate you guys. I told you guys I'm going live late. The boxing match was over very fast. So I came on right away. Peace to the lineage. We'll see some of you tomorrow.